Okay.
All right. So, with tonight's class, I'm going to give some introduction information, and what I'm trying to prepare us for is our next class. Our next class is sort of our culminating class for the semester, believe it or not. So, you've done your logic model, and then you've been doing your threaded discussions. And your threaded discussions that you've been doing, the early ones more particularly, chapters 7, 8, and 9, and 6 are about tonight. But your prior course submissions, threaded discussions, so chapter 3 and 4, when you're talking about need and how do you know your program is worthy of being evaluated, that's going to go into our culminating assessment content. So our culminating assessment, so when we meet in April, we're going to be doing something called a booster presentation. And so I introduced this night one. It's listed on your syllabus. So what I'm going to hand you right now is sort of a one-pager, a suggestion. You don't have to do it this way, but this is a suggested template of what your poster presentation should look like. And it really is sort of like the science fair. So if you just in the science fair when you were a kid, and this is, you can use PowerPoint and print out your slides and put them on your boards. That's how I always described it when I was a student. I had sort of my 3 poster boards taped together, and then this is the content that goes on my boards. Now, poster presentation, why I'm having this as our assignment. This is an authentic evaluation task. When I present at the American Evaluation Association, tonight when we look at standards of evaluation that came from that organization, one of the most popular ways that evaluators will share content with one another is through a poster session. So sometimes when you go to conferences, you might have a roundtable session, you might have a paper presentation, you might also have poster presentations. So at the American Evaluation Association, one of their prime ways that evaluators share content is a poster presentation. Now, the way ours differs, and I mentioned this night one, we're not going to have results. We are just kind of saying this is how we would plan our evaluation. So that's how our posters are different. In real poster session, you're going to actually see the results too. But why I like to kind of set you up for this is, and this is where typically people will spend a lot of money on their posters. We're not doing that, and I stress that, we're not doing that. That's what I'd say, it's low key, it really can be, go to Walgreens or your local store, get 3 pieces of poster board, tape them together, duct tape is super cool, and it doesn't need to be pretty, but we want the content. And so the content is what I've listed on your posters. When you go to the real conference, people go to Kinko's or a local print shop, and they get a very large laminated sheet. And they have the bulletin boards with push pins. And that's what you're given, push pins, and you're given your number, and that's where you display your poster. And it really is that you stand by your poster, and people will walk by, and it's generally before and after dinner sessions, that people will walk by and ask you about your content. We have no technology. And that's why I'm going to push you that direction, because we're so used to presenting with technology. I'm going to push you, can you display your content very succinctly? And can you talk about it? The only thing that you could have in addition, and is very common, you can have a one-page or handout. And that's what I put on there. You can have a handout that helps supplement. And that's where if there's some content that you couldn't put on your poster, or if you want people to be able to walk away, sort of have a souvenir, as I would like to describe it. A souvenir from your poster sessions where people remember you could have a one-page or handout. You can be front and back, that's fine. And normally people will have a business card. That's sort of the display of a poster session. You don't have a laptop, you don't have a video, and again, that's where we're so not used to having that in presentations today, but that is a very common way at national evaluation organizations, how they present evaluation results. Nice, succinct, concise. And so that's where I'm moving you for our culminating task. So when we look at the poster presentation, and I'm going to go ahead and switch my screen really quick. On tonight's folder, I have at the very bottom, I have poster presentation information. So I'm opening up with this so we make sure that we hear it and we kind of understand. So tonight's class is leading us toward doing this task. And then we have one minor task before this task also that's going to be due, and that's going to be our focus of time tonight. But poster presentation, so you have the task instructions, and then you have what I have shared with you. I shared with you the handout, but what you have listed here is the poster task instructions. And so this is, again, what's been pulled from your syllabus, but I've just put it into the 3 panels for you. But you have essentially 4 different parts. And so what I want you to remember as we talk about tonight's content and we think about what we've done up to this point in class, most of the content that's on this poster presentation you have done. There's not going to be additional work. We're going to have this data collection tool task that we're going to talk about tonight. After you do that, you've essentially done every single piece of content that's on here. So it's really you just saying, how do I want to put this together in a nice, concise way? And that's our culminating task. That's what we're going to be presenting on our last night that we meet together. Okay? So again, what I just want to kind of highlight as you look at this content, part 1, and again, this is what I just kind of suggested. These are ideas that need to be in your poster. I referenced it as part 1 because they seem to flow together. So this makes sense a little bit to a degree. This is what you should probably put first for people to read. Now, again, I put it on your handout. I went down. You might decide to go across your 3 boards. There's no right or wrong way. It's just all this content has to be on your poster. All right? And I just want that with this is your creativity. You make it as pretty as you want, but it is no technology other than the technology used to create it. So you can use color, you can use black and white, you can keep it very simple. I care about the content. There's not anything on your rubric that you'll see that says it's pretty. All right? You've got the right content and right to read the content. And others going by your poster to read the content. That's what we're looking for. So again, what's the context? What's the purpose? What are the goals? What are your key evaluation questions? That all comes from your discussion, threaded discussion, chapters 3 and 4. That's where you have thought about this, and I've articulated it already. And I gave you some specific feedback, definitely much more in chapter 3 than chapter 4. If you are off a little bit with your thinking, I gave you specific feedback on how you might want to revisit how you phrase some of those ideas. But I didn't give you specific feedback. I mean, you were good to go. It was clear, it was concise. Okay? Who are the stakeholders? And who are the evaluators? Looks like that you're going to describe you. Some of you are doing a real world context, so you might say that there's a couple other people joining you. But minimally, it's going to be you. Part 2, I'm going to just scroll down really quick.
So you're saying we can do this with another classmate?
No. No. Meaning you might have other people that are doing the evaluation and you can list them, but we should all have an independent